All right, so this is going to be another bad movie review. This is going to be on Mars Needs Moms. I don't remember when the last bad movie review I did was. It was like months ago, I guess. But yeah, this isn't good, but like there's a couple things there that I'll talk about that are actually done pretty well. But the reason why I'm doing this is because I watched Chippendale Rescue Rangers. It was a while ago now, um, and I didn't like it. I thought it was awful. It's barely a movie, and I found some of the jokes really annoying, especially the Robert Zemeckis ones, where they're making fun of like Beowulf and Polar Express, and I like those movies, especially Polar Express. I watch it like every Christmas. So yeah, like the mocap stuff, it looks bad, but I was kind of you know, put off by that. So I was like, you know what? I'll review your movie then. Your Robert Zemeckis produced mocap movie, Mars Needs Moms, which is ugly as fuck. I'm shocked that there's no line of dialogue to reference this movie, but this one was made by Disney, so I guess that does make sense.
Mars needs moms.
What the heck does that mean?
So in this, it starts off with the humans, and they're on Mars, and they're finding, um, you know, signs of life on Mars. But the people actually, well, the aliens on Mars, they actually live underneath the surface. So the astronauts or whatever, they never actually find them. And the people on Mars, they're all women, and the babies they like sprout out of the ground or something like that, and they use these robots to actually raise their kids. They don't actually raise their kids themselves, and the way they do that is by kidnapping mothers and using this contraption is based on the sunrise or whatever to put the motherly instincts, I guess, into the robots. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. So Milo's mom actually gets abducted in this. Milo played by Seth Green, and the mom is played by Joan Cusack. And they're kind of getting into it and everything early on because Milo's a little shit. I never really liked Milo throughout any of this movie. And I really identify with the mom because of that, right? She's asking him to do like basic stuff, and he's being an asshole.
Is that broccoli?
No, that's vomit, but I understand the confusion.
I thought I told you to eat that.
Well, you're not gonna make me eat it now, are you?
Go to bed.
So they abduct Milo's mom, and Milo just happens to get on the ship, and he ends up going to Mars too. He gets captured as soon as he gets there, but he gets let out. Then he ends up in this little trash area, it's full of trash, and that's when he meets, the males of that species, and they're so ugly. The mocap stuff is already bad, but like the design for the aliens really really ugly. We'll talk about that later. He meets Gribble, played by Dan Fogler, and he's clearly supposed to be the kind of funny one. He's clearly supposed to like kind of bring the energy and stuff. Like he's kind of annoying, um, and he wants him to stay, but he's like, you know what, whatever. I'll help you, get your mom or whatever's going on there. But then when Milo goes to do that, Gribble gets captured. So then Milo has to then save him, and then Milo also meets this other alien, from Mars that kind of talks weird, and there's a reason for that. But that's Key, played by Elizabeth Harnois. So she's gonna, help, and they work together. They end up in this other area. You actually get Gribble's backstory, which I'll get into later. Uh, and then they actually do decide to go after the mom. And they find out that the people on Mars, they actually did used to have families and raise their own kids and stuff like that before the robots and all that, before that got involved. So now they're actually going after the mom, right? They have to do this whole thing going on. They also use the males of Mars to help them. And he saves his mom, but then the main villain in this, kind of, even though you don't really get much from her, I think she's the supervisor, played by Mindy Sterling. She gets in the way, but then things get revealed as to, her being the reason for the robots and things, so they take her away. Um, Gribble's gonna stay on Mars with Key, and then Milo and his mom, they're gonna go back home and go back to their life, I guess. So positives, because this is still not a good movie, but there are some positives. Like I said, I did like the mom. Uh, Mainly because of how much I didn't like Milo, but I did like the mom, so I'll give it that. The characters look awful, right? It's horrifying, but I thought the environments, like the way that they actually did Mars itself, was pretty cool. Like I like the whole trash area, and there was the other place where they find out that they used to have families. It's like all green, and it kind of looks nice. And it's kind of creative in a way, so I did like that. But the main thing that really kind of started to win me over was Gribble's backstory, where he was a kid himself. He essentially went through the same thing Milo did, where his mom got abducted and he went with her, but he wasn't able to save her. And because he was actually a good kid who listened to his mother and everything, he actually blames himself for her being taken. That actually got to me emotionally. I felt that, right? And when you see him go off to save his mom and you see her get zapped away, and you're like, wow, this kid actually has been just on Mars this whole time. And you do understand why he didn't want to help Milo at first, because he saw it as being impossible because he couldn't do it. So that really worked. And then there's also the part where the mom gets freed and Milo is running with his mom and his helmet gets broken and they're on the surface so they can't breathe. And the mom, without hesitating, takes off her helmet and puts it on her son to protect her son. Even though all this has happened and he's been trying to save her, she thinks nothing to just give up her life right then for her son. I thought that was actually pretty powerful. And then right after that, Gribble runs out and he digs up the helmet that he had for his mom that he was never able to save her and put on her to then put on the mom so she could survive. And I was like, wow, that worked. That legitimately worked. Like, wow, like it's like I'm watching a whole nother movie now. It's like this is what you were trying to do. This is the theme you were going for, the mother and son relationship and everything, and feeling the emotions from that. And in this moment, it worked. At least for me. So there are some creative things here. Let's just get into the bad stuff. Uh, you know, the plan already, it doesn't really make full sense. Like they kidnap the moms so that they can put their motherly instincts into the robot. And it's like, okay, you would think you would only need one mom then and just use that mom's data for forever probably, but I guess they just need to keep getting moms for some reason. And then the robots that they use to raise the kids, because raising kids is so strenuous even for a robot, I guess, and each robot only gets one kid. After each robot raises each kid, the robot is not usable. It just gets trashed. And it's like, well, that's real convenient, right? So that you could keep having to do this. I mean, it was a hell of a stretch. It was such a convoluted little thing that I was like, okay. And then it has to do with the sunrise. They don't really fully explain why they need the sunrise or why the sunrise actually makes the moms disappear or makes them, or takes away their motherly essence or whatever. Like it never really goes into that really. So I was like, okay, you could have made this a lot better by just keeping it simple and just having them kidnap the moms and then having the moms raise the kids against their will. Wouldn't that have just been better? But they want to kill off the moms, right? But I mean, this is a kids movie anyway. If you'd have done that, then the moms could have survived and Milo could have saved all the moms and returned them to their homes and to their kids, even after like a bunch of years or whatever. Fine, whatever, they've been found. But no, especially by the end when everybody finds out about Mars in this, it's like, well, the moms could have probably came back if you'd have kept them alive and all that and just had that be it. Or force the moms to teach the robots or help program the robots or something. Like you could have done something that would have made more sense, but whatever. Gribble, he, like I said, is there to give more energy to the movie because it's kind of bland before that and kind of like, it's not, there's not really much there, and Milo's not that great of a character. So I'm like, okay, this character, I'm expecting to like this character because he's definitely going to breathe life into this. But the character's so annoying. He never shuts up.
I'm part of Ronald Reagan's secret astronaut program. The Secronauts. You might have heard of us. We're here to stop the threat of interplanetary communism throughout the galaxy. Why else do you think they call it the Red Planet?
he's saying, "Oh, buddy, what's going on, man?" He's like jumping all over. "Oh, what's your call sign, bro?" It's Maverick, right? "Oh no, Iceman." You seen Top Gun, right? I mean, it's endless, right? And he's fat because it's we have to get that comedy out the way of him falling over the place and things like that. Uh, yeah, he just keep going. Like even when I'm feeling his backstory and how they're telling it, he has to like fall over almost immediately afterward and get right into his normal shtick, and it just wasn't working for me. I was like, I get it, you're trying to entertain the kids in the audience with the character, but he was just too much for me. And they don't really explain how he's able to hack things and things. He has this little robot that I assume he made. You're just supposed to assume that, oh, he's been there for long enough, so he just picked it up. It's like, well, that's not enough. That's not enough to just go along with it. You could have had it to where I don't know, I don't know, him and Key met, and so she taught him how to hack all the different systems and things like that. And they're already part of some kind of resistance to change things on Mars. You could have maybe done that, or maybe you could have had uh, the robot that he's with. Maybe he found that robot in the trash, and that robot taught him all those things and how to hack into the security systems and things. Conveniently for the plot. At certain points, he can't hack into certain doors and things too. It's like, okay, man, if you say so, dude. There's also Key, the alien that they befriend or whatever. That's like painting on the walls and things. She talks really weird, and it was like really off-putting when she first, starts talking to Milo.
Get off of me! Hey! Mellow out, man! I'm not the fuzz! I'm not busting you!
You're not?
Check it out!
What is that? They were tracking me?
Not you. They were tracking whoever you were chatting with.
Yeah, there's an explanation for it where like she saw this video or whatever. That's how she learned English, and it was like a 70s, I guess, video or TV show or something like that. But it still was too much. It was still to the point where I was like, "You're pushing this, man. Come on, man. I ain't the fuzz, man," or well, whatever. It didn't work. And then they also forced that romance with Key and Grumble. Is like, this is unnecessary. The character design, oh my god, for the aliens, they're so ugly. Like you have Key and like all the female characters, but especially Key because you see her the most, and they have these weird bodies. They're wearing outfits with like straps or whatever that really like brings your focus to their ass. It's fucking, it's so weird. They have these thick thighs that are like spaced out and everything. They're like thick as Pixar moms a little bit. I was like, are you trying to make these weird looking alien crazy chicks hot? Like, what is it? And they have the dreads for no real reason, and then the male ones, the ones that are always jumping around and everything, those are terrifying looking too. They're all hairy, and they have like dreads too, and it's really off-putting. And then the babies are probably the worst of it all, right? Like they're just ugly. The supervisor lady has like the bug eyes and like wrinkles all over to show that she's old, and they all look so bad, man. It was really bad. Like towards the end when they were like celebrating or whatever, like yay, we're gonna go back to like having families and everything like that. You almost expect like the world's most horrifying orgy to happen. I mean, they were doing all this celebrating and dancing around and moving around at the end, and I was like, wow, I'm in hell. God damn. The humans look bad enough with the mocap and stuff. Like Milo looks like a rat, right? What's it called? The Milo's mom makes some really weird facial expressions that are really off, and stuff like that. But it's nothing compared to the abominations, that are on Mars. I mean, it's nothing compared to that. All that being said, I think that's all I had. This is kind of maybe a shorter one of these. There were things that were interesting, right? But for the most part, it was just kind of, I don't know. It felt like it was going too fast early on because we got to hurry up and get to Mars, right? To where Milo says, "I don't want a mom," and then he immediately, just really, really out of nowhere, and then he's immediately like, "I shouldn't have said that." It's like, yeah, you shouldn't have. That came out of nowhere. She's asking for you to eat vegetables and take out the trash and stuff like that. Just normal ass shit. It's nothing that strenuous, bro. She tells him to answer the phone. And he's like, oh my God, he's acting like he's a captive in jail or something. It's like, bro, like this is like normal. So it could be so much worse than this. I get it, he's a kid, but whatever. And about him being a kid, Seth Green don't sound like that. Like they show a little bit of them doing the mocap stuff at the end in the credits, and it sounds like he's just doing his regular Seth Green voice. I don't know if they did things in post or what happened with that, because he doesn't sound like this kid in this, right? Like this kid was kind of annoying. His voice is really high pitched. I don't know how old he was supposed to be, but yeah, that was weird. I was like, Seth Green. I was like, really? This is played by Seth Green? You see the ending. I was like, well, what happened with his voice? Because this don't sound like him at all. He's not putting on a voice at all. Anyway, early on is not enough development of that really. And then at a certain point, it kind of, the pacing feels a little too slow because we're focusing on so many other things. And it's like, at what point are we actually going to be doing something, like have some kind of operation that we're pulling off to actually save the mom, right? Instead of having to save Grimble and do all this other stuff, or Gribble, whatever his fucking name was. But yeah, there were some emotional moments that actually did work, though. I'll be honest about it. It really did towards the end with, you know, the backstory and, you know, that, and the mom and, you know, her relationship with Milo towards the end. Like there were some things that worked. So I will give this a riddle. It's at least watchable and has some good moments. So there you go. But it's still not good. It is marginally better than I expected it to be, but whatever. I don't think it did well box office wise when it came out, and I can fully understand. Regardless of the story, I mean, the story could have been amazing, right? The story could have looked amazing from the trailer, but looking at the way these characters look, the humans, and especially the people on Mars, the aliens, there's no way in hell I would have been like, yeah, we got to go see that. No. But anyway, yeah, that's it. That's Mars Needs Moms, and we're done.